this video, I am going to show you how to finalize your dragsters and get them ready to be grouped all together for submission. Alright, so we're here, we're on the final tutorial, we made it. And what we're first going to do is we need to put our wheels on our CO2 dragsters. Alright, so here's my final dragster right here. So I'm going to go to my file with my wheel that I've made. Some of you, for submission, I had you make 4 of your custom wheels, right? So maybe you have a file like mine where you have your 4 custom wheels, whether it be all the same wheel or all different ones like me, or 2 of the same and the other 2 the same. Or but just go to the file where your custom wheels are for your final dragster. Then what you're going to do is you're going to click on your wheel, right? If all 4 wheels are the same, it's going to be really easy. You just have to click on one, click Control C to copy it. Then you're going to click on this little, it looks like a checklist almost. And when you hover over it, it says Recent Designs. And if you click on that, it'll bring up everything that you recently went onto. So I have my dragster body right here all ready to go. So you can click Tinker this when you find yours, and it'll bring up your dragster. Once it's loaded, you might have to orbit a little bit so you can see the size of your cars. Then you're going to click Control V to paste, and the wheel will be pasted into your car. And you can kind of tell that as soon as you put this wheel into the work plane, it's a little bit big. Alright, so we can always change the dimensions of the wheel as we see fit. But what we need to do first is rotate this wheel. Okay, so I'm going to click on the double arrow up here and rotate it 90 degrees. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how it looks where that hole is that we placed. So you can see, right, I'm kind of putting it over here, but when I'm looking at this, the wheel's huge. Okay, so we definitely need to change these dimensions. Alright, so I'm just going to bring this in. And remember when I said when we were making these wheels how you could have bigger ones in the back and smaller ones in the front? Well, I'm going to do that. So to make these thicker, you're just going to click on the black middle box, and you can see it gets way thicker. And what you're going to do once you have the size that you like, so I think that's pretty good, maybe just slightly smaller. I'm going to check the thickness again. What you're going to do is drag this to that hole right there. So you might have to lift it up a little bit. And then I'm going to drag it towards the car. Now you're probably wondering, well, how far should I drag it in? Now, shouldn't be out like this. You should not see, like if you see a little bit of that plastic, that's fine, but you shouldn't see this much. I would say seeing that much is fine, nothing more than that though. So I'm going to push this more into my car, which I don't see any of the plastic, which is fine with me. You can take a look at it, and there we go. Now I'm going to copy and paste this for the front wheels. And actually, before I do the front wheels, I'm actually going to move this over here for my back wheel. And then I'm going to paste another one and use this for my front wheels. So I'm going to slide this one back on here. That looks pretty good. they're not exactly in the same spot as each other, that's okay, but just do the best that you can. And then since this is a front wheel, I'm going to make this thinner. And I'm going to slide it to the front. It looks pretty good. I know the hole's right there, but I'm actually going to move this back. Just because I like the way it looks a little bit better. And you could also make the front wheels smaller as well, because that's how they really are if we were to make a CO2 Dragster. And there we go. Then I'm going to copy and paste this one and bring it on the other side, rotate it. And stick it on there. And look at it from the top view to see if it's, so like you can see this one isn't actually in the car. There we go. And we have our final dragster. Now you might notice that the wheels are actually below the work plane. That's fine, that's what we want, because if we think about it, if we had our wooden CO2 dragsters, the car body, so the wood, is actually lifted up off the ground, right? The wheels lift the car off the ground. So yes, your wheels are supposed to be underneath, or a part of them at least should be underneath the work plane. So that's totally fine. So I think my car looks pretty good. So once you're happy with the final results of your car, and after you get your wheels all sized and ready to go, you could see if I wanted to move this car around, okay, everything comes off, right? And we don't want that at all. So we want to glue everything together, so we have to group it. So we're going to draw our big red box around our car, let go, so everything's highlighted, so you can see there's 19 things highlighted. We're going to group it. It's going to turn everything one color. It might take a couple seconds, so once it stops being red, you'll know that it'll be okay to then switch the colors back. But you can see mine's still red. That's just because I have a lot of things for this to group. But there we go. Alright, it grouped. Now mine already was, you know, the multicolor selection, but if I didn't have it checked, yours might be all one color like this. So all you have to do is click on the solid color, click multicolor, and everything should go back to normal. And now if I try and move this, everything stays put. So what that means is you can take some screenshots for submission. So what I like to do for my screenshots is rotate the car. So the bottom double arrow, I like to have it kind of on an angle on my work plane. And you could take a picture of it from this side, right? So from this side view profile, and then from the other side view profile. So that's why I said I like angling it, so you can kind of see the whole front side and the back side with your wheels for both sides. So my suggestion is, before you take a screenshot, is for you to rotate this to angle it like this. Right, so it's in the corners of your work plane. And that's it. You have successfully made your CO2 dragsters for this project.